What's up, everybody? Listen, just making a quick little video today. Testing out some software, making a little video, just kind of chilling out. I just recently got a couple people asking me, beginners, kind of starting this reflection process when it comes to their jiu-jitsu. Although it's going to be kind of framed for a beginner, I don't believe that this topic is necessarily for beginners only. I think everyone should be employing some kind of or implementing some kind of this, what I'm about to talk about today, in their training at any stage you're at any stage. I used it a lot when I was not first starting out, but maybe when I was early blue belt. I started using it. I found that it's a formula systematic way to kind of break through different plateaus. So if you're kind of in a situation where you feel like your jiu-jitsu might be kind of plateauing, I'm just saying this in the context of jiu-jitsu, but I believe that you can do this in a tons of other arenas in your life. But specifically for jiu-jitsu, if you feel like you're in this point where it's like, I'm just not getting better. We're going over things in class, but it's like I'm having a tough time, seeing big results. Okay, a couple things I'll speak on here is, first of all, there's this concept: just because you're going to class, and your coach is showing you things to do, and you're kind of working on different themes and different things to do, listen, it's your own responsibility, in my opinion, to try to get better. And what I mean by that is showing up to class, I don't think meets the criteria of trying to get better. I'm not trying to be harsh or strict. I'm being serious. Like, I think most of the work you have to do in order to try to get better at jiu-jitsu is internal work in here that can be done off the mats in regards to thinking about things, studying maybe instructionals or stuff, or just wondering and pondering on why some moves work and why they work the way they do. Okay, these are, by kind of thinking and kind of trying to bounce those types of questions and ideas around in your head, you're really mixing with this material very analytically, and you're giving yourself chances to associate, okay, things you already know in your life, things that you already know on a deep level in your life. You're getting a chance to associate a new topic, such as something in jiu-jitsu, with something you're already very familiar with, okay? And when you do this over and over again, and you start kind of tagging different familiar subjects with this new concepts and these new knowledge and these new ideas and stuff like this that you're learning in jiu-jitsu, you are learning it, you're really reinforcing those bonds in your brain, those synaptic bonds. Okay, so I just think it's a critical thinking element that, maybe perhaps our society doesn't do a lot of nowadays anyways, but if you do it in jiu-jitsu, I think you'll really see a lot of benefits. And ask questions, okay? We're going to get into a little bit of a formula on how I like to break my plateaus, using the habit of journaling. Another thing that I would say is just keeping your jiu-jitsu purposeful. It's very easy, especially in the beginning, to be tempted into rolling because it's so new and exciting and very it's thrilling, This is something cool and new, and you start chasing submissions because you remember what it's like to get your first couple submissions, and you're like, oh, like you can learn triangles, and you learn these cool moves, and you it just seems so massive, but yet so exciting, and it can seem massive in a way of too much to learn too. I have those moments as well, but what I'm kind of getting at here is I want you to be kind of hesitant to falling into the trap of going to your jiu-jitsu classes just to roll only, without having an underlying purpose or theme that you're actively trying to work on. Okay, and just surviving, I don't think's a qualifying theme. I mean that's okay to an extent, but you should have more specific goals. Remember, the more specific you can get with the question you're asking, the more specific of an answer you'll get. And I think it's more valuable as well, because the closer you can pin down the question, I think it leads you to the truth a little bit sooner. as opposed to kind of like having everything be like clumped together and you have to kind of peel away the layers. I hope this makes sense. Just basically ask specific questions, and I'll get into that. First of all, I just want to bounce over here. I just want to show you. We're going to be talking about journaling. This is just Amazon.com. We're going to be talking about journaling. These kinds of journals are totally chill. You can journal with these. You can buy them. Literally, I don't know what's inside of these things. I'm sure they're just like a little printed formula, and they might each have their own. They might each have their own printed formula. I want to get this book, actually. I think that'd be a cool book. Guys, instructionals and perhaps books, but I'm not a real book kind of person. I'm more of an instructional kind of person. There's some really good instructionals, but instructionals and different books and stuff like that, they are great to learn, okay? I like instructionals, video instructionals the best because I can hear and see how they're moving. Whereas a book, it's obviously just photos, like a comic strip almost of, you know, the evolution of the move. But I like to actually see it in video form. That's another great way to do it. But those alone are not going to specifically, break you through plateaus on their own necessarily. I truly believe that the reflection portion of it is. So let's talk about this. Why do I have journals up? Listen, I journal. I did a lot when I was a blue belt specifically. I probably should do it more now, but I still do it. I carry it with me to every single practice. It's always in my bag. It's always nearby, just in case. And journaling is not necessarily like taking notes, okay? Journaling is a means for yourself to stay accountable in the brain and always be kind of avoiding those aimless rolls, trying to break through plateaus. And I specifically will show you my formula that I use. Okay, so I'm going to pop back over to the screen. This is just a Google Doc. I'm just going to show you kind of what I have here in this Google Doc. That's what I have in my journal. Okay, so basically, I go ahead and I basically start off, I enter the date. I put the date down. Whoops. And I also, I can't type. And I also will put down kind of the class that I'm going to. So if I train twice that day, so for example, today's Tuesday. Keep in mind, I'm writing this normally. Tuesday, noon, class. Boom. Okay. I'm going to follow this formula, by the way. X, I'm going to do plus, I'm going to do, that's an equal sign, plus, what do I keep screwing that up? Plus, minus, and then question mark. This is literally the formula, okay? So X, you're just going to talk about the what you are doing. Not a great speller. What am I doing here at Tuesday noon class? So before class, I'll enter this into my journal, and I'll just say, today at noon class, I am going to do, Kimura, Kimura, I think that's how you spell it, trap /T, Kimura, back, take from side. Okay. See how specific I'm getting here, guys? Like Kimura trap and working on T Kimura back tape from side guard. So as the person's passing. Okay. That's very specific. It's important to do it very specifically. Crap, dude. I am having a tough time with this. The plus. What does the plus stand for? Okay, listen. The plus stands for what went well. Okay, I was able to use the Kimura grip to fully swing to the back. And I noticed that I can enter Yoku Sin K-A-K-U from there too. So maybe I found some insight. Maybe something went well. Maybe I found out something a little extra about this. I was able to use the T Kimura grip to fully swing around to the back and take the back. And I also noticed that I can enter the side triangle from that position too. I never knew I could enter it there. So here, this is me kind of reflecting positively. Okay? Now, the flip side of that. What is going on with my formatting? The negative side. So I have a negative mark here. What's one thing that didn't work so well for me from there? Well, maybe getting the proper grip was very challenging. I couldn't reach the very often. Okay, so now I'm kind of saying, okay, look at this. I couldn't reach the Kimura very often. Getting that grip was challenging. Once I had the grip, though, I felt pretty cool. I felt pretty good. I was able to do the Kimura, but I had a tough time getting there. Okay. And then we segue into our question mark. And usually whatever our negative was, I like to formulate that into our question. Okay? So how can I get the Kimura grip more, what's the word? Often? Maybe easier? You know, how can I get it? How can I set it up? Just kind of brainstorming some questions. Now I'm changing my perspective a little bit. Instead of how can I get it, how can I set it up? What else can I do with it once I have it? Okay, now here I have a couple of questions set up now. All right, see how these questions, they kind of stem off of maybe my negative, but they kind of relate to X. They kind of relate to my theme. But now I've kind of got a theme here. Okay, tomorrow's class, when I begin this whole entire process over again, so tomorrow, one day later, I go and I put another X down. Now my new X is going to be one of these questions that I have here. Okay, so now my new X, any of these questions I just made are going to go into my journal for the next day. And then this process will repeat and compound, okay? I can use different instructionals to help answer these questions. That's how I kind of do it. But in the meantime, what I'm doing is I'm priming my subconscious mind to start toying with these ideas and looking for these ideas, because I'm trying to be what? I'm trying to be aware when I'm rolling. Remember, if I start aimlessly rolling and just doing what I naturally do, and I'm not consciously thinking or critically thinking about these things, and my awareness is not there, then I will encounter many more plateaus. And that can be frustrating. It can almost lead someone to completely stop doing jiu-jitsu in the first place. Okay, and I want to avoid that. I want to avoid plateaus, and I want to maximize the limited amount of time I have to even be on the mats. I want to maximize that. So as you can see here, I'm leveraging yesterday's knowledge and everything I encountered into tomorrow or tonight. If you're doing a couple sessions a day, you can even leverage it into that. And what you'll see is, you take these, I would break them down into units. I would, first of all, make an overarching goal for a process, for perhaps an amount of time of a quarter, like maybe 3 months, 4 months, somewhere in that realm. And I would kind of set like this miniature season of your knowledge. Like, what do you want to pursue? Like a unit, a weekly goal, a monthly goal, or a monthly unit. In my opinion, it's a little too fast for jiu-jitsu. Now, maybe that's just my personal opinion. You might be able to really, learn a lot in a month. I think I'm a fast learner. But the thing with jiu-jitsu is, at least in the beginning, it's not just about learning it. It's about learning it and then acquiring skills to do it, right? And then also kind of relying on partners, counters, and all these things, which then will refortify your skills, okay? So my point is, long story short here is utilize this formula, okay? Don't just aimlessly roll. Give yourself 3-month season, 3-month gaps where you have a specific goal going on, okay? And then each day be aware of what you're going to do. Kimura trap, blah, blah, blah. What went well? What went poorly? And then what questions do you have now? Then repeat it as you continue to the next day. You're going to do this exact same formula down here with your plus and your minus and your question mark. And then it snowballs. And you do this for the entire quarter on a specific topic that you've aligned with or that you've determined is going to be, something you truly want to invest your time in learning and perfecting. I think you'll see incredible results. And I think you'll see that your plateaus, they don't stay very long, if any. And if they do stay, maybe you shake it up. Maybe you do a wild week where you just do whatever you want to do. Or you ignore the journal just for a week and just kind of clear the slate and then get back to it. But I truly believe that this process of setting something, doing it, reflecting on it, reflecting/refining and tweaking, and then repeating that whole process over and over again is truly what will make you grow. So once again, you can get journals on Amazon if you want to. By no means am I telling you to. I personally just do it in a notebook. Okay? If you want to do it on your phone, you can do it on your phone. Personally, I like having an actual notebook. That's just personal preference. Do whatever you want to do though. Awesome. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps. And remember, give yourself a little bit of grace, but at the same time, it's okay to be focused. It's okay to be focused on this. And it takes a little while because you have to learn it, then get good at it. Okay, so if you're trying something and it's getting shut down, it probably should get shut down, especially if you're new at Jiu-Jitsu and you don't have a ton of skills yet. But putting your emphasis and awareness and energy into the basket of learning for its own sake and for getting better, I think is a great place to invest that energy. All right. Hope this helps you out. Thank you very much. Take it easy.